So I'll give you a rundown
Okay.
how I like to do it, and you let me know if it works.
Damn, it's good.
All right, let me try this. What is it? What is the name of the company?
Baikal. I think it's like a river somewhere. There's
Baikal.
They name a lot of
And
things after
Botron.
rivers.
Really?
The like all the tanks, all the military equipment is like named after like rivers and shit and like monuments.
This is delicious. Salud.
I like this one. I'm gonna try that one next time.
How do you say cheers in Russia?
I don't think you do. I think you just touch drinks.
There's no way.
I don't know.
Maybe because you don't drink.
I've been known to dabble.
Well, I did have a Russian friend when he was 13. His dad gave him a shot of vodka for his birthday and brought a stripper to the party.
Okay, a stripper is a little bit far. The
It
shot
was.
of vodka.
It
The story
was.
is a bit relatable with the stripper. I don't know.
Yeah, they were all like, everybody was like 13 at the party.
I'm gonna take my glass off for optimal experience. Bro, I like the vodka. Yeah, at like 13. My dad get it. I mean, I was having shots before that, but
Vodka was actually the first liquor I've ever tried.
really,
Yeah. Bro, I'm in my full Russian mode today. I got the Russian cream flavored wrap. I just had the
potatoes and
the Russian potatoes.
Vinchiki.
Yep. I have the borjomi. I have the, what is this again?
Baikal.
Baikal.
Did I say that right? Yeah.
But the website is chernogolovka.com.
Chernogolovka. Oh, no, I know this brand. Basically, Chernogolovka, they're the biggest producer of like soda in Russia. They actually have a lot of them.
Like the Coca-Cola of Russia.
Yeah, basically. So like they make all like the soft drinks. And that's their name, Chernogolovka. So this must be like a subdivision of it.
Okay.
I know these guys because they make really good shit. Like it's like in like still glass bottles everywhere.
Soda in glass bottles is always the best.
Mexican Coke.
Cans. Yeah.
So
Mexican Coke is good, but Nicaraguan Coke is actually super underrated.
really, what about Bolivia?
I never tried it. So talk to me about, obviously we're mentioning Russian drinks and Russian words and whatnot. So how do you know Russian?
I was born, well, technically my family's from there. I wasn't born there. I was born in Kazakhstan, so that's around Russia.
Well, depending on who you ask.
Yeah, they actually don't. A lot of people don't know. So, basic geography lesson.
Right. Central Asia.
Central Asia.
But you're not
obviously, Asian. Yeah. People have called me Asian. Like here, they have a strange thing where if you're born in a country, you're automatically of that ethnicity, which I'm not. Like if I was born in America, I'm not American. Like that, very simply, it takes more than just being born here.
That's true. American. That's true. Different countries imply different things. Obviously, when we say German, we think the national and ethnic definition is implied in the same one.
Yeah, like it's not. For example, someone born in Vietnam and Vietnamese who moved to Germany and has lived there for 20 years because they're still not German.
Right. No, that's 100%. And you can't be born in Vietnam and not be ethnically Vietnamese.
Yeah, there's just too.
You can't call yourself Vietnamese just because.
No.
Reagan had a really good quote about that. He said, "You could move to England, never become an Englishman. You could be born in France, never become a Frenchman. You could go to Germany, never become a German. But you can come to America and become an American."
That is true, actually, if you think about it. My sister's almost an American. She's picked up all the habits of the small children. I'm scared, honestly. No, but yeah, I was born in Kazakhstan, so I speak Russian. Вот почему говорю по-русски. So we moved here when I was 5. Now I'm 16. So it's been 11 years that we were here. I have my citizenship, so it's amazing. Basically, go to any country visa free.
Mm-hmm.
So overall, I mean, I like it here. It's spectacular.
Are you dual citizen with Kazakhstan?
They don't allow it. They don't allow to. I mean, first of all, their ego is massive, right? So they think like me, but except they're Kazakhstan, so they're not. They can't really. They're they're a little shithole. So how dare they not allow dual citizenship?
Really?
You need to live there for 10 years to get a citizenship. So think about this, right? It makes sense because if you're moving from Kazakhstan to America or any other country to America is basically considered the #1 country on earth as far as living standards. So they can basically set whatever rules or guidelines they want on immigration.
Right.
But in Kazakhstan, if I'm coming there with my American dollars, which are worth considerably more than your currency, and I'm obviously going to spend money there, right? Why would you not want me to be there? Like, the maximum you can have there is 30 days.
That's not a lot.
And otherwise, right, you can't even get tourist visa. You have to have, like, a work visa. So, like, if I want to stay there for half a year, I literally couldn't. I can't. Which is strange to me because shouldn't they be wanting my money? Shouldn't they be wanting American dollars? You know? Like, they think of themselves a bit too highly, I think.
Because even though my family's Palestinian, to go to the West Bank, Israelis still give me 3 months.
Yeah.
Even though I don't hold a Palestinian ID and I'm not an Israeli citizen, I could still go to the West Bank and stay for 3 months. 3 months is still it's a decent amount. That's average, right? The European Union gives us 3 months too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's weird to me that you being born and having your family there still can't spend more than 30 days without applying for a work visa.
Like I would think, right? You could say other tourism or family, right? That's why my mom tried this last trip, but she can't. So the workaround is every 30 days you have to leave the country and then come back in and then. It's like fucking Uzbekistan or some shit. There's a lot of stands over there. All pretty similar.
Much more ethnically diverse than people think. Because everybody I've met from Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan is obviously very Central Asian looking. But you do have Russian people that do live there and have been there for generations. I know people from Afghanistan, for example. You have different tribes. You got like the Pashtuns, for example. Not a lot of people know who they are. They have an interesting code. I don't know if there's any Pashtuns that have moved over east into Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan. But the Pashtuns in Afghanistan, their tribe has a code where if you come to them seeking help, they cannot refuse you.
Really?
They have to host you. And even if people are like chasing and after you.
Pretty sure that's like a tradition there too. Like if you knock on someone's door, they have to like house you for 3 days.
Yeah.
Something like that. It's a very interesting country. One thing that a lot of people don't know is that for most of its history, there's been more Russians there than native Kazakhstanians, I think that's how you say it. Like, I'm pretty sure in 1970 or whatever, when they took the Soviet census, there was like, it was like an 80% Russian population or something like that. Really? Just because so many Russians were moved there. It was basically Russia too, essentially.
Interesting. Why is that? Was it just work factors?
There's every single natural resource you could fathom Kazakhstan has. So like, I don't know, coal, lithium, iron, what's it called? Phosphate, everything, right?
Interesting.
Uranium.
Okay.
That's, Kazakhstan is where they launched the Soviet rockets into space, where they still launch the rockets into space.
I had no idea.
Yeah, because, it's where the space center is. So it's like, it was kind of like I guess like the technological sector almost. And that's why in 1991, when the Soviet Union collapsed, a bunch of Russians were basically in a foreign country. Because it was, even though like it wasn't Russia, it was treated as basically an extension of Russia during the Soviet Union. Like it wasn't treated as like a different republic. It was basically Russia too.
Right.
That's why a lot of the Kazakhstani people are like, they're not really happy now because of the war and etc. They don't really want to be associated with Russians.
Got you. And we touched on this earlier, one-on-one, where you have a lot of people from East Ukraine, for example, where before the war, they would have called themselves Russian. They were all ethnically Russian. But now after the war, they just tell people they're Ukrainian because it's more convenient.
Yeah. The thing is, I can obviously say that I'm from Kazakhstan, right? But I'm not. I don't look it. And also, I'm not a little bitch. So. I'm not going to say that.
There's certain Arab countries, for example, like Saudi Arabia. Just because I'm Arab in the cultural linguistic standards, if I was born there, I still wouldn't have Saudi Arabian citizenship. They don't hand them out to anybody. None of the Gulf Arab countries do that.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You have to be actually from the designated families that are ethnically from Kuwait, ethnically from Bahrain or Saudi Arabia.
So you even if you're born there, you're still not.
No. I know people that are like Lebanese, Egyptians, Palestinians. Some of them have moved to like the Emirates, for example, like Dubai or Saudi Arabia for work, and their kids are born there. They don't get citizenship.
Okay, that makes sense, to be honest.
Like
they're not from there.
No,
it's a massive wasp behind your head.
I know.
You're trying to play it off.
I thought when it flew by, it just went by. I didn't think it's stuck around, but
yeah, I know it's a little bit.
I have a lot of bees by my house on the farm
too. Cheeky
too.
Fuck. Better not come back. I'm not to deal with it. No, but definitely, I like it there. It's it definitely has a brighter future than in most countries. I think it's not going downhill; it's going uphill. I like how they can make decisions quickly. I feel like autocracy and dictatorships, when done correctly, or I guess more of where the president has like a higher authority. If done correctly, it can lead to a more uniform and overall safer place and safer government. Just here, right? Again, I think we talked about this one-on-one, but over there, vapes came in like 2022. Within a year, they're banned.
Yeah.
The government took they thought, okay, is this good for our children? No. And they banned it. Because a bunch of kids, I knew when I was over there personally, a bunch of kids that were smoking it, and obviously it's not good. So they decided quick like this to ban it. But here, they've been suing Juul for fucking years. So and I can still go to that gas station over there if I really wanted to and pay the guy an extra $5 to give me one.
That's true. Because And there's not sometimes certain moral codes don't necessarily apply to legal codes. Whatever the law is, a lot of times isn't what's like. There's certain things you could do that are ethically wrong, but it's still legal.
Yeah.
And there's things you could do that are ethically right and be illegal. Like in Palestine, for example, if a little kid goes in to buy cigarettes, even though he's underage, like 5 years old or whatever, he's buying it for his uncle or his dad sent him to the store. Like the store owner is giving him a cigarette knowing he's not the one smoking it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's little things like that. But here they're like, no, they know you're the one consuming it and they'll still give it to you underage.
Yeah.
Just to make a few extra bucks. But the dictatorship thing is interesting because Emirates, right, Dubai and Abu Dhabi are the two major cities. And in the UAE, everybody, all their politicians, they're all Emirati. They all dress the same, the white robes, they all talk the same language, all the same religion, right? They make decisions quick.
Yeah.
When the prince is walking around Dubai and he sees a pothole, he's just like, hey, come fix this. Boom, it's fixed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
China, all the Chinese people in the Communist Party there, when they're getting together, they prioritize the Han ethnic, because China's super diverse, but not as diverse as we think.
Because, I mean, think about it here. I think the reason that America is doing so well, I mean, compared to the rest of the world, you know, in all of it, you know, everywhere that it succeeds is kind of due to the fact that they were winning like 30, 40 years ago. It's kind of still, you know, experiencing the victory from the 80s, the 90s.
Reputations take a while to go away.
Exactly. So, right. So if you were in New York in 90s America, you were in basically the best place on earth.
Right.
You're basically the most opportunity rich place on earth. If you were like a banker or like a stockbroker, like Wolf of Wall Street, yeah?
Right.
Everyone was making money. Everyone was making a fuck ton of money.
Even culture, think about it. When people think of the 90s, everything goes back to America. You think of 90s basketball. You think of 90s hip-hop. You think of 90s pop music. You know what I mean? It all goes...
The 90s was a very influential generation or decade.
But this country doesn't just export missiles and have a strong military presence around the world, but it exports soft power. The soft power, you got hard power meaning bullets, but you got soft power meaning what people listen to 3,000 miles away from here.
Yeah.
Right? The music that they listen to, the movies that they're watching, you know what I mean?
That's actually a very good point. Let me tell you this. Right now, when I was in Kazakhstan, there was how Kobe Bryant died in the helicopter crash? Obviously. So over there was a basketball court or like a basketball, I guess area. It was like a massive complex for basketball. And it was made in his name. And I asked the kid there, it's like, why do you have a basketball court in Kazakhstan made as a tribute to an American player? It's like, what do you mean? He's a universal legend, right? The thing is, and that really surprised me, to be honest, because like over here, they'll never make a memorial about someone who is an American, ever.
That's true.
I mean, like,
but at the same time, I'm trying to think, who do Americans know that's
not
super
American,
big, non-American, that has done something huge? You know what I mean? Like a football player. Soccer's known worldwide.
Leonardo,
right?
maybe? Oh, fuck. Ronaldo,
okay. Ronaldo, Messi, Maradona, like Ronaldinho.
They don't make statues in America. That's the other thing. They don't.
We have old statues of like Jefferson and presidents and whatnot.
Yeah, but like that's from old America. That's from like 100 years ago. The other thing I noticed when I was in Russia and when I was in Kazakhstan, I'm not saying like I liked how there was a statue or a memorial for everything. Like just in the city of Moscow, there was like 100 memorials for various things. They're not like tiny ones like this.
Right.
It's like a massive structure. There's like a space one. It's like 100 meters tall.
Who's the guy that was because Russia was the first one to get into space?
Yes, Yuri Gagarin.
Yuri. His photo, if I'm not mistaken, when he made that trip, they put his photos everywhere in schools and hospitals, everywhere. Everyone appreciated and remembered that, like, recognized him as a hero.
Of course. I mean, think about it. You're going in basically like no one knows what this is. It's a vessel that's sending you into, as far as they could tell, heaven. You don't know. You could explode
never made it
at
to
any
space
time.
before.
I mean, that's a massive risk. I'm pretty sure he had a family. I mean, I think everyone had a family during that time. I don't think you could be familyless without being like abnormal at that time.
I think
so. Obviously, he was taking not only massive risk for himself, but for the people that he knew. So that's why it was, he was applauded because he did it anyway. That's why there's so many war memorials there too. Just because you
absolutely
like here, if you really think about it, there's like what 2, 3 war memorials.
There's a couple big ones in DC.
Okay, I mean DC definitely have. Yeah, that's probably where I expect.
But in regular cities, no. I'm trying to think of when did I pass by something that said something about Vietnam or World War II or Civil War.
Yeah, like, think about it this way: like you could be in a city in Russia or Kazakhstan with literally 100,000 population. There's at least 10 memorials.
Wow,
they literally find some like you should like in Almaty, even though it's a pretty big city, it's like 1.2 million population. There's a specific memorial from Afghanistan for the specific battalion of soldiers that was born in Almaty.
Wow.
So and like they had their faces, that everything.
Okay.
So it's like the thing is, Almaty's not Moscow, right? So why would the government invest in doing that? Because the people want to care. In that same park, there's a World War II memorial. So it's like not one step back or something like that, I think it's called. Again, like that's not Moscow. That's not Almaty wasn't the one who was being sieged during the World War II. That the Germans almost got close to.
Yeah.
Why is it there? Everyone respected it. You have to respect your culture because it was one united country. Everyone wanted to respect the culture and the history.
Right.
You're not going to forget that. That's why they still have the annual parades.
The historical significance, the significance of remembering history. To me, I've always seen it so vital. And during Tucker Carlson's interview with Putin, what I really appreciate in that interview was as Tucker's trying to ask simple questions about modern issues, Putin goes off on an 8-minute tangent, giving the entire history of his nation.
So he knows it.
Not only does he know it, but compare it to any Western leader who could sit for 10 minutes and give an eloquent speech. Or not even a speech, just a whole anecdotal monologue of his entire nation's history, going back hundreds and hundreds of years. The way he was able to do that, I really appreciate it. I also really appreciate how he probably knows English better than I do, but he speaks always in Russian. There's a translator there. He does not sit down and talk to you in English. He talks in Russian. Let the translator do his job, and you sit and see and watch him speak in Russian, giving a whole beautiful history lesson on his country. I don't know any other Western leader that could do that or has done it.
I'm pretty sure it's the first, definitely, because I liked how he almost added context to the situation.
That's what it is. And most people don't know the history. You can't talk about something today without giving the context.
Exactly, because obviously it's a major thing, right? Like, you can't decide an issue without knowing why it's existed, right? Like, why do cars have 4 wheels? Right now, if you don't know anything about cars, you can say, okay, why don't they have 6? It's better for grip. But then I'm sure there's some specific issue.
Someone tried 6 and it failed.
Yeah, exactly. But you don't know that.
Yeah.
But someone does, and that's why they don't make 6-wheeled cars. I mean, they do, I'm pretty sure, but that's like for Abu Dhabi billionaires.
No, that's a great point. So that's what I always said was, because I studied history, was regardless of opinions on him or in the war and anything else, just outside of that, just take that out of the equation. Just the fact that he was able to sit there and give that much history on his country, to me, I thought it was amazing.
Oh, it's I mean, he knows his shit. I don't know how old he is. Like, again, for some reason, I'm pretty sure he's like in his 70s.
You think? He was ex-KGB.
The thing is,
He could be 115. We don't know. Probably uses olive oil.
He's 72.
Really?
Does he look 72?
No.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
he could still knock the shit out of us.
I don't know. Maybe speak for yourself on that one.
You want to take him a one-on-one? Go ahead. It's
not going to be one-on-one. That's the thing.
I'm not trying to.
It's going to be a ICBM that's going to land on my head right after. The thing is, like, first of all, for 72, I would say he looks amazing. Yeah. Like, he's still, first of all, in shape, and he's, I don't know, he looks, I'm going to say 55.
He definitely looks good for his age.
And the other thing is, his brain is not really as meddled as, for example, Biden was. Obviously, like, the thing is, Biden would not be able to talk for 10 minutes straight, let alone
talk about American history for 10 minutes.
Recite a history lesson, right? So, I definitely think it's pretty cool.
Now, what about Kazakhstani leadership? What does that look like in Central Asia?
Okay, so I don't really know much about that because I studied. See, this is what I mean. I studied Russian history and then studied. I kind of know it. So the big president during the Soviet Union and right after the collapse was Nazarbayev, I'm pretty sure. And like he was kind of president. I think he got de-elected only like 5-6 years ago. Now there's a new one, but he was like, what I'm pretty sure, again, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he was corrupt. And a lot of people made money from his corruption because like, I remember my dad telling me about how like he worked for his daughter and he made a whole bunch of money in like a year. So that's the other thing, right? If you don't do like a dictatorship or a autocracy correctly, there's gonna be a lot of money that's gonna be stolen from the people, and all the resources gonna be stolen from the people. So I don't know much about him, so I'm not really gonna comment further. But that's what I've
So
heard.
if you were a dictator of the world, but a benevolent dictator,
Yeah.
what would be 1 to 3 policies you would do? You were in charge of the world, you had full control, but you were a benevolent dictator. What is 1 to 3 policies? It could be economic ones you focus on, anything like that.
Benevolent means like good.
Benevolent, yeah, you're doing it with the intention of actually helping people.
Okay, so to be honest, that's actually a really good question. I think. First, I probably would revamp the education system somehow. I'd make it so. Obviously, it's not really beneficial for a government to teach free thinking, but I think it's beneficial for society. So I think that's probably the first policy is to revamp education. There's a whole tangent about that, but let's just leave it at that. Second one, I actually don't really know. Thinking about the future comments, I'm gonna guess if I say some of these things. If I'm gonna get banned off IG, I don't know. Because like the thing is, for a lot of things that I like, not everyone. Like if everyone does it, it's not going to be able to work. Okay, I would probably have some type of state-sponsored fitness program because that's something how you can fix America right now. Like if you got a subsidy for $250 a month just because you're able to meet certain fitness requirements, I think you'd be a lot more inclined to do it. 100%. If you got your gym membership paid or like state-sponsored gyms. Obviously,
or
that's
more
like,
local parks with outdoor gyms. I know that in other countries too. A lot of times,
there's a lot in Kessin. They get destroyed because the kids there are a little bit evil. But, they keep rebuilding them, so they like it. I feel like, I mean, it kind of goes against capitalism. That kind of strays more into socialism, like that public park thing. But I think for how important the health of your nation is, it's something that can be done. For the third one, what am I? I don't know. For the third one, this one's. To be honest, I mean, I think those two will work mostly for I mean, because free thinking is just such a mass umbrella that it opens up for a whole bunch of other policies. Because I also don't want to like police people's personal lives if I was one, because it's just not my fucking problem. Like you can do whatever you want. It's still going to be freedom of speech, freedom of expression, whatever. But it just wouldn't affect how governmentally things are run.
I think the education, the physical training is really great. What I would possibly add is something to give inclination for families. Like, for example, in Hungary, there's no income tax now if you have like more than 4 kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Something like that where you can get.
If you have more than 5 kids, you get like a check or whatever.
Yeah, I would do that, or subsidies on housing. You know, depending on how many extra kids you have. I'd probably reinstate some appreciation for mothers. So if you have more than 4 or 5 kids, give you some sort of award. You know that.
Yeah, like in the USSR, I'm pretty sure if you had more than 10 kids as a mother, you'd literally get like a gold medal.
Something like that would be really great. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how I don't
know if I'd do it at 10, maybe around 5 or 6.
I would do it personally I like that, but I feel like it doesn't really fit. Like you can't reasonably do that in America, just because like it kind of falls against capitalism or like in the whole like democratic system to get an award for. I don't know. I guess it could be possible. I would probably like lower taxes. Definitely, I think lower taxes definitely for children being born after like a certain amount, after 3.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's not like China where in America there's a population growth problem. There's a lot of land here, a lot of resources. I think the population here can comfortably be like 1 billion, to be honest.
China, actually, majority of their population doesn't even occupy the whole country.
They occupy only the
east side,
the coast. Exactly.
Yeah, the coast.
That's why all the cities are so massive because most of China is in mountains. America, it's really gifted in terms of its landmass because it's basically just a flat plain. It's basically perfect land apart from like
especially
the
in the Midwest
mountains and the Appalachians.
Yeah, the West Coast got the mountains for sure, but there's so much space in the middle and in the north, and even in the south, where it's like still we could build cities. We could still build new things.
And the thing is, you can basically build a city anywhere, and you don't really have to worry about like defensive measures because both Canada and Mexico are kind of subservient to America. They're almost an extension of it.
I'm not afraid of Canadians.
Yeah, no. They're almost like an extension of America. Like if they wanted something to happen, like we're gonna go, China's attacking Alaska. We're gonna need to use Canada to get our troops in. I think Canada's gonna say no. they ain't gonna say shit.
They don't have a choice. Canada, actually, a lot of their things are extensions of China. China's had a lot of influence in Canada, like low key, and it's kind of weird because like Trudeau. When China, forget his name, Jinping, when he goes to Canada, the way Trudeau's body language and behavior is kind of like, like when you're working in an office and you're fooling around because your boss doesn't.
And then
your boss walks in and you get like, and you like pretend that you're working. That's how Trudeau looks when China
He's
rolls
a little
up.
bitch, so probably.
When China comes up, he gets nervous, and I'm like, yo, you guys. And if you look at their policies in Canada, it's becoming super communistic.
Really,
a lot of their things, the way they're policing, the way they tried to hold people's Bitcoin during COVID.
Bro, I know that's crazy. If someone tries to hold my Bitcoin, I'm like, I'm throwing
the way they tried to do so many different monetary policies, and even in Europe, a lot of places like trying to move towards more cashless. Like a homegirl of mine, she was just telling me on college campus, for example, she went to go pay for like some Oreos, like $2. They wouldn't take cash. They wanted to make everything cashless on campus.
Basically, they've done that before. What happens is you just put the money on the table and you walk away.
She literally, she's like, I have the $2 right here. Like, why do I need to give you a card?
See, the thing is, that's what's funny because they say that no cash, but then you can steal up to $9.50. So what's gonna happen?
You know how many Walgreens closed in San
So what's gonna happen?
Francisco?
You're not gonna take my cash. I'm being nice to you. I'm offering you a chance for me to pay legally for this merchandise.
Yeah.
You're not gonna take it. I'm just gonna take it. I'm sorry, my friend.
And they can't stop you apparently now in a lot of Walgreens.
Can't.
Yeah, in California especially, people just walk out with all their supplies and all their groceries and just leave.
Dude, it's like a raid, you know, like something like money related.
Absolutely. Let's talk about what's keeping you busy right now. What are you currently working on, and how'd you get into it?
There's so many things keeping me busy, but let's start from the top, I guess.
The main thing keeping you busy, and what I know you for, is for short form content. We'll get into SaaS and tech and that thing later, but specifically on content, on short form videos, and how do you view content marketing?
Well, it's definitely extremely big right now. It definitely has a place in the next 10 years, but for now, I'm going to put a lot of money with it before it falls out of favor. Let's just say that. I like it as a business model because it's easy to sell and it genuinely helps people. I mean, when I started, right, I used to edit videos myself. I mean, that's basically what content marketing kind of is at the core. It's obviously the video editing. And I think that's extremely...
I didn't even know you finished yours.
Of course I did. I'm an energy freak. I hope that doesn't blow away again. But obviously, at the core of it, like video marketing is how well the video is made and how well like the script is written. So I started editing myself just as an editor, just to earn a few bucks because that's what Tate told me to do. If I listened to myself a little bit earlier, I would be much farther ahead.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a good thing that I did start editing myself because that's where I learned to like write engaging scripts. That's where I learned how to kind of communicate with clients. Like my first few communications with the client. That's where I learned to actually edit the videos. Like, even though I don't edit videos anymore, if I didn't know how to edit videos, it'd be a lot harder managing my editors.
True.
Because, like, you remember how you talked about how your uncle, he didn't know how to work the cash register, right?
Yeah, forgot.
Because he didn't work it for 25 years.
Yeah.
But let's say his employee fucks up and, like, leaves. He's got to know how to work it. That's what I got to do. I got to know how to explain to the editor what needs to be done because I know how to do it. I just don't simply have the time to edit it. So I think it's very important that I know how to do that. But overall, I pivoted after I edited for a single guy for like 6 months. I pivoted to an agency. So I started doing mass outreach, a bunch of outreach. I made a new website. I grew my brand. It was called Profit Path. It's still called Profit Path. I don't know why it was. It's still called Profit Path. So I grew that. And that's basically where I am today. I mean, now we just do everything because I've learned everything. So we ideate for you, we script for you, we obviously edit, and then we post it. So that's like a full cycle. And eventually that's a lot of good results because you can improve after every single video. So you can see what script did well and then write more scripts like it.
You can also re-upload many times. I've seen a few people where their fourth upload is what got the viral video, and all they did was like tweak the hook. They kept the body the same, but they kept retrying. Okay, the video did
this
okay.
one guy, like, remember I talked about the guy that I worked for myself?
Yeah.
So I made him, I think in total about 500 videos. There's a shit ton of videos. But this guy, I don't know how, like, IG normally does not like when you re-upload. This guy's re-uploaded the same viral video that I made. Like, he hasn't changed it at all. Like, fucking 50 times. And each time I got 100K views.
I've seen multiple people do that.
Sometimes clients are just dicks. Like, it doesn't matter how good you do, they're just dicks. So this guy, right? This first client, he knows who he is if he's watching. I hope he is. But so we made a lot of content for him. Almost all of it went viral. A bunch of it went viral, right? Like, I think a total was like close to 50 million views in like 3 months. We went from 100 like from 77k followers on his IG to 177 in like 3 months, right? Nice. So that's a crazy number. That's a really good figure. So we made a bunch of our content. Then towards the end of it, right, 3 months, I was starting to like think about my agency, all this shit. And obviously, I would rather keep a client than remove him, but I simply don't have time to edit for him anymore. At that time, I think I was working for like $25 a video. And just as I was about to ask to increase it to my normal price, which is about 50, he wanted me to go back down to 20 because, I don't know, like the videos are becoming easier now, right? So I explained to him, brother, I've earned you, because I could like see how many users sign up. Mm-hmm. I've earned you close to 100K. I'm asking, right now you're paying me like $700 a month. I'm asking for $1,500, right? For you, that's still an amazing return on investment. But for me, it's going to allow us to keep working together. And then he went on a whole tangent about how that's too much. This is a guy who had 4 supercars, just so you know. Like this guy who had a Lambo, an SVJ, that's the same fucking shit. A Ferrari, like 268, something like that. So he had a Urus, an M5 Comp. So he had a bunch of cars, yeah? Each car is like 300, like 100 to 300K. And he was telling me about how he needs to save $400 a month. So that's where I learned a major lesson. Like, I would never want to be that stingy at that level of money, because either that means that his lifestyle is rented, or that he's like behind on loads or something. Like, if you have like 4 really good cars, why are you negotiating with someone who made you 100K for over $400? That just doesn't seem practical. Obviously, I try to rebate the situation. Try to make lower to like 1,000. He wasn't having it, so I said, whatever. I'm not gonna do this then. I'm not gonna argue for no reason. And then, like obviously, I uploaded all those videos, and he took like 2 weeks to pay me. And he tried back charging a bunch of the old ones. Actually, no, this is exactly what he said. He said, if you don't finish these last like few videos for free, I'll back charge every single invoice that I've ever paid you. So wow. So
that's extremely petty and unprofessional on services that's already been delivered, value that you've already gotten.
They've been posted like 100 times. I'm like, yeah, so I'm gonna be forced to backtrack. You're not gonna be forced to do anything. Like, is someone telling you to do that? Mm-hmm. Like, at that point, I decided that I don't want to be that type of rich guy when I do become that rich, because I couldn't imagine back charging,
especially haggling a teenager over some bullshit.
Yeah. Because this
guy, you don't have anything else more important in your life to do than this right here.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's the other thing. I was kind of confused at first why he hired me, because like he's this big. Why don't you hire someone more experienced? Why are you paying me like $20 a video? It's like, bro, the last guy was shit. If I was paying him 10, why are you even trying to pay someone 10? If you pay someone like 50 a video, you have that budget. They're obviously gonna do better work. So I don't like that. That was a big lesson for me. But after that happened, after I started working for him, I started doing a bunch of outreach. So
specifically on Twitter, right?
Specifically on Twitter. Twitter, I feel like is still like the best outreach platform. Email, I'm trying right now. I got a few responses. Most of them told me to fuck off. But,
you'll get that a lot with cold email.
I like X more just because it's more controlled almost. You can like choose your lead better because their X page is their profile. So it's a lot easier to like sort through. And that's basically where I made all my money. It's X cold outreach. That's the other thing. That's why I also started a lead gen agency, because I learned how to do cold outreach on X while I was doing my agency or my content agency. So cold X outreach is definitely the best thing you can do in terms of getting leads quickly. I know some people who like IG a lot. Personally, I've paid too much money for IG not to get a single response.
Because everybody I know that does short form content specifically or short form agency are all on IG.
They do it on IG. But
huge obsessed with IG.
Personally, I don't know what the obsession with IG is, because first of all, there's a few tools for IG. The main one is cold DMs. It's like the most expensive. It's the cheapest one, but it's extremely expensive. So like, still, right? An account sending like 45 DMs a day. It's like a total of like 1,000 DMs a month. Single account is $100 a month. So think about how crazy that is. If you want to get some results, you need like 5 accounts. So I think that's like in the like 330, something like that. So for a beginner, spending $330 a month to try to get a client is not. Even for me, like 330 is absurd. The 330, you can hire a manager, which is what I did, to manage a team of 10 people to send outreach, and that's what I do for IG. I have it manually because I'm not going to be spending 330 on a fucking tool. Isn't that the point of it? So it's cheaper than human labor? Because it's a tool, it's automated.
Right.
Plus, it got my account banned twice. It's a piece of shit tool.
IG got more and more strict with the amount of people. Now you see invites on IG. Now when you DM somebody, it comes up as an invitation. It doesn't automatically send. On
it does that on Twitter too, but the thing is, it depends on how good your profile is, your sending profile is. On Twitter, you can bribe them. Because, like, for example, I saw genuinely a massive increase in replies when I bought X Premium Plus. It was $16 a month one. Because when I sent too many DMs with a normal one, it was going straight to the inbox.
Okay.
But then when I paid for 16, they must have thought, okay, this guy's more real. He's twice as real. Because 8 times 2 is 16. So we're going to let his messages go through. So that's what I did there.
Yeah, I got the Premium Plus too, and I haven't had any issues.
Yeah, no, it's definitely good. Plus, they're kind of like, you can do whatever the fuck. I've never gotten an X account banned. I've gotten many IGs banned, not a single X account. And my main X, where I get most of my replies from, was Tristan Tate following me. So, like, right. You know, people, that was actually a genius life hack. What I did is I had like 5 guys who, were like big and they followed me. It's like, okay, let me sort an email list specifically from these, like, people who follow these 5 guys. Because when I DM them, it's going to say followed by and that big guy, right?
It's immediate social proof.
Yeah, exactly. So they're like, okay. So, because I got at least 3 clients say, like, the first response was, how are you followed by Tristan Tate?
Really?
Yeah.
Somebody immediately pointed it out.
Yeah, I mean, because it's like, that's normally the only, like, it's the first they said that. It's like, it's an account with 1,300 followers, and it says followed by Tristan Tate. What the fuck is this guy doing? I actually had one guy who, like, he, like, added him over and over. Is this guy legit? Is he sponsored by you? Like, if he follows me, does that mean he endorses me? Like, this is how, like, that's how rare a Tate follow is. To the point that if they follow you, they think you're associated with them.
Right.
Which I guess is good and bad at the same time because I'm not necessarily associated with them. They are really cool guys and I do like them, but I'm not Tate. So I have my own shit to do, my own life to live.
Right, your own last name and your own legacy to fulfill.
Of course, that's the other thing. Like, I know a lot of people, and obviously it's going to be going on Twitter, so there might be some angry comments from Tate stands. I respect the man; he's done a lot of good for me, but he's not God, and I'm not gonna wear a shirt that has his name written on it. Because at the end of the day, most of my achievements are my own. They're not his. And I know a kid, his name's Muhammad Ali, and he's making about 15K a month, and he says it's all associated with the real world. But most of the strategies that he described to me were made by him. But he thinks it's so much because of the real world. He makes posts that get like 500 likes saying join it. He's not even using an affiliate link. Like, you're getting these guys so much money. Why not get paid?
Yeah, why? And they tell people to join affiliate programs.
Yeah, so I'm saying, so like he believes that he owes them so much because, like, his success is attributed to them that he's just gonna do it for free. I'm like, bro, I get it. Like, they helped you, but they didn't do it for you. They didn't put money in your bank account. You did. You put food on the table. You put money in the bank account. They didn't do that. So, of course, yes, thank you very much, Andrew Tristan. They don't own me. And I'm not going to make a post every 5 seconds saying, thanking you. I've made that. I've made enough. I mean, one of these is probably going to be pinned to it, but I don't think it's very good to ever say someone else's name unless it's Jesus Christ that often. So I guess.
You ever seen, there's a lot of videos of 50 Cent, a lot of places where he's at. 50 Cent's huge. To this day, he works a lot. But almost any chance he gets, he will mention and say thank you to Eminem because Eminem's the one that put him on. So he'll never forget that was the person that helped him. So even though as big as he is and everything like that, but there is a fine, like you said, there's a fine line between almost idolizing and worshiping, which is forbidden in, Christianity and Islam.
Of course.
But there's a thin line between, I still give credit where credit's due.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Like, obviously that helped me. I made most of my money because of the real world. I'm going to say that right there. I made most of my money because of the real world, but I didn't make all of it because of that. And it's not 100% attributed to them. So thank you very much, my friends. But at the end of the day, you're not God. So I think, yeah, it's definitely a fine line. A lot of people can't, like, follow it. It's the same thing, right? Like, it's like Taylor Swift fans will pay like $5K for a ticket.
That's insane.
It's not much different if you really think about it. And the thing is, both the Tate brothers, they both say don't idolize anyone. So that includes them.
Of course. So
it's a very fine line. I think some people just need to understand a little bit more.
Right.
Okay, this can is pissing me off.
Is you mentioned Jesus. Is faith very important to you? Did you grow up in a strict religious household?
Hopefully the camera can pick this up. Got this cross at in Almaty. No, definitely. My mom is very religious. My dad's not as much, but let's say he doesn't like publicly admit it, but I can like inside he is, right?
Well, I did notice with a lot of folks from post-Soviet, from the Soviet Union era, because religion was kind of shunned, even in the Balkans, in Croatia, that a lot of people said they couldn't go to churches, simply because of communism. That it was kind of told not to go, and a lot of people felt like they couldn't express themselves religiously. That in the '90s and afterwards, more people started to wear crosses again.
To be honest, I've never really heard that because both sides of my family were very religious. There's churches in Almaty that are 150 years old. They've been open forever. So I don't think, maybe in certain regions of the USSR, but definitely not where I was from. You could be any religion at any time that you want. I think their policy is that like there wasn't a state religion, but they wouldn't interfere with personal lives, right?
Okay.
Because I mean, like still, like you can, like a World War II movie, right? There's still a cross on every single soldier's neck. You know, they still pray. They're in the middle of a fight. And I'm pretty sure, like, even in the national anthem, there's some type of hint to it. But I mean, Christianity is the main religion of Russia, and Russia is the main power of the Soviet Union. So I don't think anyone was ever forbidden from going to church. Okay. I mean, think about it. Red Square, there's St. Basil's Cathedral right there.
Right.
If they really didn't like it, they would remove it.
Because we've always associated communism with atheism. And that's, if you look at, like, in the 50s, for example, American currency added "In God We Trust."
I think, because this country... still have it?
I'm sorry?
It still has it, yeah?
Yeah, but that wasn't always from day one. That was in the 50s because we were fighting communist atheists, and we were trying to promote family values.
But that's the thing, right? If communists most of the time are really atheists, why would the biggest communist city, Moscow, have a church in the middle of it? Like the Kremlin Red Square Church.
Yeah.
It's literally right next to the seat of power. Like, that wouldn't make sense, right? Why would, when you watch the parade, you see the church in the background. Why would you want that? Because, again, it's history. So I'm pretty sure it was built in like the 1600s. They wouldn't dare touch it, because if they did try to tear it down, there would be a massive revolution. Okay. Like, the thing, people are so like extremely religious there. Like, I'm pretty sure grandmas would like be fighting with like AKs.
Of course, yeah. I'm sure. No, so, these are just certain anecdotes that I've read in a few people's personal experiences and books, and a couple of journalists of their specific families, that their mother was usually the one who would really want to go to church.
Exactly.
And a lot of times their father would be like, "No, you're not going to church. You're not allowed to go." And they just felt like they was just shunning down, religion a bit. But everyone that I've met is also very religious. So I've always been kind of confused. So I feel like it just depends on pockets of where people were, and maybe how closely they were associated with government and different organizations.
I mean, definitely wasn't shunned for sure. But personal religion to me is very important. So I try to do my best to uphold every single value. That's why I don't really like the idolizing anyone. Because again, most people say think about any person more than they think about God, and that's obviously not right. I try to be fair in all my business dealings. I try to, if someone is owed money, they deserve it. In some cases, if someone did a really shit job or didn't finish the agreement, they're not going to get paid because they didn't finish the agreement. But in most cases, I try to be fair and honest. So it's definitely a big part of my life. I guess another question would be is, how do I go to church here, since there's not any Orthodox churches?
I was just going to ask specifically Orthodox, right? Because most seems
it's a massive difference. Yeah. So my experience with American churches is that they're kind of faithless. I think it's very strange to say that in American church, but you walk in, it's a stage with chairs. So by first glance, is this a church or is this a meeting? Is this a
Waffle House? Protestant churches look horrible. There's no design. Nobody cares. You drive by them without even paying attention to them.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's not a cross on the roof. Yeah, that's the thing.
You walk by an Orthodox church, you can see it.
Oh, my friend, you can definitely tell it.
You see it. You know it.
When I was there, you walk in, first of all, everything is golden. I'm pretty sure it's real gold too. In every single tiny, even shithole church. I mean, church never shitholes. I should probably take that back. But everything is beautiful, right? There's massive paintings of saints, massive crucifix in the middle. All the the candles around it. So I feel it has an aura to it. The fact that someone took the effort to create it and to upkeep it, and the fact that the priests are monks,
Right.
They can't have children. They can't have a family. So they're dedicated. Their existence is dedicated to this specific church in the specific city, right? So I feel like that's extremely important. The other thing I like about Orthodox Church specifically is they're this beautiful without taking 10% of your paycheck.
Mm.
So the other thing about Protestant churches, I feel like a lot of the times they're just a money printer. Why am I required for? Why can't like how can you take 10% of every single paycheck and your church look this shit? It's just literally a box. Or because I've been to Protestant churches, they just pass around a bowl. Like you're supposed to put money in it.
Evangelical ones too, especially with a lot of Central Americans and Mexicans.
I'm not putting. Okay, look, because I always donate in the Orthodox churches. After the ceremony ends, I go and I put money in the bowl.
Yeah.
Or there's like a little
vault.
There's like a little
safe,
like a little thing. Yeah.
You open like a little door and you slide it in and close it.
The thing is, but no one's passing it around. It's like in the corner of the room, and you have to find it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the other thing I like is how Orthodox churches mostly fund themselves is stores. They sell little candles because in Orthodox, you light the candle and you place it next to your saint.
Okay.
Right. So the candles, they buy the candles. They buy they sell crosses. Obviously, I brought mine out of the church. That's another way that they make money without just begging for money. Right. So it's more fair, but you can always donate money, and I always do, but no one's forcing it upon you. You can come in, come out without anyone ever telling you that you have to donate, which I feel is extremely important because sometimes you're on a place to donate, or others are in a place to donate. So I feel like it's always pretty balanced.
No, that's true. In Islam, you are required a percentage of what you make every year to go towards your mosque, but no one is I've never seen a situation where it's
that's
forcing.
like 10%. Technically, you are supposed to donate 10% of your money to God, but that's between you and God.
Yeah.
The pastor ain't gonna hunt you down and say, "Boy, you only donated 9.8% this year.
Right.
Where's my other 0.2?"
That's true.
The other thing I've very rarely seen a church Orthodox priest with any type of really
fancy materials,
flamboyant wealth. Pretty sure there are a few. Obviously, there's outliers everywhere, but for the most part, you don't see Kenneth Copeland. No, I'm sure most people know who that is. They don't fly around in private jets because it's just against they're not monk anymore if they do that, right?
Well, churches are great business in the U.S. They collect so much money tax free.
Bro, I might need to start a church content agency. Say that's my religion. It's content for the not officially, but for the government. They can think that.
Because that's a great point you made about Orthodox churches. You're not seeing the priests with so much wealth because if you look at it, the most wealthiest church you have organization in the world is the Catholic Church. Number 2 is the Mormon Church, right? So already your top 2 are not Orthodox.
No, that's the thing. The Catholic Church, this is gonna probably piss a lot of people off, but how can you pay money to wash your sins away? Does that never made sense to me, right? Because the thing is, a lot of the peasants when they were going to church, they couldn't read. So the pastor they're sitting reading to them, they're saying, "Okay, if you donate your money, we'll wash your sins away." How could the peasants not know that that's not what's written in the book? Now we can read. We're amazing. So you can read, and you can say that in Christianity, you're not allowed to, paying any amount of money does not wash your sins away, right? But they didn't know that. And so for hundreds of years, the Catholic Church took advantage of that and got people to donate money to wash away sins. So they just profited from lying, essentially, right? How does that work? You can't so isn't that against God? So I always found it quite funny, but at the end of the day, it is still a massive religion. So there's a lot of good people there. I just don't like how they manipulate people like that.
Yeah, what happened was when the first book they really started making when they invented the printing press.
It's the Bible.
It was the Bible, and that's what it allowed was for people to actually read. Before you never got that chance.
That's why what's it called? Lutheranism existed, didn't it? Because
Martin Luther was part of the Reformation.
Exactly,
because the Protestant Reformation.
He got pissed off at the Catholics, and so he decided to make his own branch. I'm pretty sure
that was the split between Catholicism and then all the different Protestant churches we see today. Was that first major split? Yeah.
I mean, they kind of fucked up, but
but
I don't think it was personally Martin Luther who is responsible for most of the things that we see today. So
no, I mean, obviously in Islam, it kind of happened very similar, where I guess Sunni Islam could be considered like Catholicism, and then Shia, and then now from Shia Islam, which is like your main Protestant, if you want to compare it that way, there's a lot of different breaks, there's a lot of different separations that happen over time. Because once one separation starts, then this group of people, half of this group is like, okay, I don't agree with you, and then the other half goes a different way, and then it just keeps continuing. But the Quran doesn't talk about Sunni or Shia. It doesn't mention any separation. It only talks about one religion. And the interesting thing is, like in Arabic, when you look at certain words, it don't necessarily. It's not a unique name. Like Islam, for example, it means like to submit. So a Muslim is just one who submits his will to God. So calling yourself a Muslim, for a lot of Muslims, by the definition, is anybody that submits their will to God, whether they call themselves Christian or Jewish or Buddhist, anybody that sits and prays to a God and submits his will to God. That's what Muslim means in Arabic. It's like it's a general word. It's not a name of like a follower of this faith. And like even the word like Allah, it literally just means God. But in Aramaic, language that Jesus spoke, it's the same word, El meaning the, La meaning God. So those are similarities because it's kind of interesting. Like Americans might make fun of like, oh, Allahu Akbar and say Allah, Allah all the time, making fun of it. But in reality, in the same language of Jesus, it's just the same word in a slightly different, in the same Semitic language.
They just speak a very similar language.
Same Semitic language, just the God, just God. So that's what it stands for. That's what it means.
I feel like for a lot of situations, what matters is not exactly the religion that you choose, but it matters like how you behave yourself in life. To see that, like, obviously I'm theorizing, but I'm pretty sure that if you live a good life, but you're in the wrong branch of Christianity, I think you'll still be fine. I don't think it's gonna really affect
people. Get caught up. I've always seen different religions and like languages. For example, tell me in Russian that you're hungry. Anajan in Arabic. Sounds different, but at the end of the day, we're both hungry. It's the same feelings, the same emotions. It's the same condition that we're both in. Just because this sounds different, that doesn't mean
anything else.
That doesn't mean the hunger goes away all of a sudden, right? Exactly. So when two people are praying and trying to live a good life and trying to do right by others, and just because it's a different faith, that doesn't mean the intention and the human element there it gets erased because it's a slightly different name of what you're practicing versus what I'm practicing.
Of course, I feel like a lot of hate towards like Islam is associated with obviously like the like Al Qaeda and terrorists. But obviously that's not everyone because it's a massive religion. I mean, there's like 3 billion or something?
No, I think almost 2.
Christianity is because even in Kazakhstan there's churches and there's mosques right next to them. And the thing is, like, I know Muslims there. There's it's like I think it's also like an ethnic group. I forgot their name, but they're like Muslim Russians who live in Kazakhstan. It's like
probably similar to Uzbekistan because most of the Uzbekistanis I've met are
exactly. It's exactly like that, right? So they're not harmful. They're not violent. They believe basically the same thing. Really, it's like the tenets are almost identical. It's just like written in another language, or if it translates, but it's in English. So what does it matter? It's just what idea spread fastest, right? So, and I'm not really going to spend my time arguing about Muhammad or Jesus. It doesn't matter. The only thing that you can do in this world is try your best to live a good life.
That's true.
I feel like that's what's really going to make a difference. It doesn't matter whose name came out of your mouth.
Because you could be born in a different household, right? If you were born in a different country in Mexico, you'd be Catholic. If you were born in India, you'd be Hindu. If you were born in Sweden, you might be agnostic. You don't get to dictate. A lot of times what faith we carry, what language we speak is because that's the household we were born into. That's how we've communicated and understood the world.
Of course.
And it could easily have been altered if you were born in somewhere else.
Exactly. That's what you're saying, like Allah and God. It's the same word.
Yeah.
It shows different language. So it doesn't matter. Like you're saying, thank you, God. You can say thank you, Allah. It doesn't change what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
So yeah, overall, it's. I think good things will come to those who are good.
That's true.
That's another big thing I believe in.
I've been discussing it recently with a few friends, how when you look at religion, we're talking about in Latin America, where my mother was born in Venezuela, it's a lot of Arabs, a lot of Palestinians, Lebanese, Syrians, Brazil. Right now, like in my experience, it is hard to meet people in affluent societies with money in Latin America without coming across Lebanese people. You'll meet Syrians and Palestinians, but you'll meet some Arab, one way or another. The richest Mexican, Carlos Slim, is a billionaire. He's Lebanese, first generation.
Really?
Yeah. Salma Hayek, most famous Mexican actress. She's Spanish and Lebanese. So going anywhere around Latin America, you'll come across Middle Eastern people. The president of Mexico right now, she's Jewish. I
don't know how that happened, to be honest. I feel like that was some meddling in there because
she's really close with the Sinaloa cartel.
Okay, makes sense.
But it was between two different women. That was the interesting thing in Mexico. Their presidential candidate was between two women. So either way, a woman was going to win. Like the two candidates were both women.
That's actually really surprising for Mexico,
right?
That's something you would expect.
That's what I said.
Like Canada or like
Norway.
Yeah, some cuck country.
Exactly.
Because Mexico, like, okay, we'll cut your head off. If you like tell on us.
But she has photos of the Sinaloa cartel.
We vote a woman into power. It's a bit strange.
Yeah.
Because that hasn't even happened here.
Yeah.
But it happened in Mexico.
Yeah.
Well, I guess money talks. So that's what it talks.
Nicest part of Mexico City in the west in Polanco, heavy Jewish neighborhood.
Really?
So you'll find Jews and Arabs all over Latin America. We're usually in the same cities and coastal regions together. We're usually in the same business industries also. We come across each other all the time. We're very close in Latin America. We have beef in the Middle East, but we're usually friends in Latin America. You go to Brazil and Sao Paulo, you'll see your richest doctors, richest families, half Lebanese and Syrian, the other half Israeli. Almost anywhere you go in Latin America, you'll see some sort of similarity. And I think why we were able to go to Latin America and do something so well with sales and everything is sales and marketing. Doesn't matter what product it is, whether it's an info product, SaaS, everything is sales and marketing. We got really good at inventing things like religion, and we got very good at promoting it. And if you look at religion in terms of accumulating followers and trying to convert people, like Christianity and Islam a lot of times do, as proselytizing religions, it's almost like your first affiliate program. It's your first SaaS model. It's your first monthly recurring membership. Like it's your first pyramid scheme.
I feel like it's a bit almost very too basic way of looking at it, but I guess you're not wrong.
Obviously, I'm just generalizing and simplifying it for the sake of argument. But in a way, I've thought about it, how it relates to the personal character of how we were able to go door to door all over Latin America and sell things. Literally like my great-grandfather and just take things in their backpack. For example, the first people to go to Latin America were Palestinian, Lebanese, and Syrian Christians because they realized that they didn't want to be under the Ottoman Empire anymore. They realized Latin American countries were all Christian.
No, that was the Byzantine Empire. Never mind.
No, Ottoman after. So they realized we could take crosses and Christian trinkets and, different things related to saints. And we could just put that in a bag and go sell them in Latin America because they're Christian too. So those were the first people that started moving. They'd go door to door and start selling.
I guess that's not bad as long as they're not like making an exorbitant profit. I don't think it's right to make a huge profit on anything like related to religion. It should be like enough to
Well, that's what it was. That was the original hustle, was door to door. Eventually,
selling
you get a cart.
massive wooden crosses. Yeah.
Eventually, once you were able to reinvest, you would get a cart. You would get a store. You would start selling sheets. You would start selling, house products, tables, chairs, whatever you could find. Eventually, there's import and export companies to this day that are Palestinian owned or Jewish owned, or any Armenians used to go to Latin America too. So you would find like all these different people eventually start growing and upgrading. And it all goes down to marketing and sales because no matter what we are, we want people to follow our ideology.
Of course.
Like we always get caught up in wanting someone to be part of our group. I'll give you an example. Tomorrow, when you and your wife have an argument, when you go to talk to a married group of people, like your married friends, and she goes talks to married friends, subconsciously, those married friends will give you both advice to keep you married because they're married people. They want their friends to be part of the married tribe.
Don't talk to the divorced one.
But if she goes talk to single friends and you go talk to single friends, they're both going to be giving you advice that eventually keeps you apart. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because they want you to be part of their tribe. So if you go talk to a Muslim for advice or a Christian for advice, he's going to try to figure out a way for you to join. I would really love it if you start,
Oh, you figure out my master plan.
Because every Christian I've met, like especially the ones that are really religious, they've all told me, secretly, I really hope one day that Jesus Christ becomes your Lord and Savior. And if Muslims are really honest, they would love and appreciate if everybody they met became Muslim. Immediately. They just get super excited about it. I personally have never cared.
Is there a mosque here? Like, I've never actually seen one. Is there one?
In Sarasota, I have no idea. In Tampa, there's a bunch.
There's a bunch of
Yeah. But here, I've never seen.
Because it has very clear architecture typically. That's why I haven't like.
Usually, you can detect one. Yeah. Sometimes, depending on the community, like the one I used to go to, south of Tampa, was behind a Walmart. It was like a house, simple house. Okay. Because the family realized that a lot of people were in that area. They didn't want to drive to Tampa, so a couple people bought a house. Technically, in Islam, anything can become a mosque. If 10 people got here today and started praying, this would become a mosque.
Okay.
Wherever people can get together safely and pray, that's a mosque.
I mean, yeah, I understand, but like, they make them traditionally in a style. That's how I typically It's the same with churches. I mean, everywhere except here.
Bro, do you know how many girls on IG will go to mosques like in Abu Dhabi or Dubai or Saudi Arabia?
Is that how you say it? Is that how you say Dubai?
Dubai, yeah. Dubai, some white people stuff. They're like Dubai. They get so crazy about it.
It's like they need to make a Dubai song. Like there's like California girls in New York.
Yeah, you need to.
They make a Dubai.
There should be.
Habibi, come to Dubai.
Yeah, that could be the chorus. But they'll take pictures in mosques because they're so beautiful. They're so nice. You know what I mean? It's like, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying to do it. I'm just saying, like, if they weren't that nice, nobody would take a photo.
Of course, yeah. I mean, it's beautiful, but I feel like a lot of those IG girls have a 18+ link in the bio. So,
that's what's terrifying. It's like you taking photos in front of mosques.
They're gonna get hit by lightning,
bro. I've literally seen on a feed. I'll see like damn near pornographic bikini photo. Scroll one photo at the mosque, covered up. I'm like, just don't post. Just go and enjoy. Take a photo for yourself. Just like, don't put the juxtaposition of two things like that together.
Yeah. It's a bit strange.
A little bit.
I don't know how to feel about that, to be honest.
But you're not on IG often. You keep focusing on Twitter.
I did reinstall IG.
Okay.
Because I have a few people that message me on there. But I haven't posted in like a year and a half. So yeah.
That's crazy. You short form content, but you don't do short form content on IG.
Okay, so let me rephrase that. My personal IG, I don't post in a year and a half. So like that's my personal life. I have a business IG that I post on sometimes.
Okay.
Because honestly, like I used to do short form content for myself, but then I kind of like I got tired of scripting, which is why we're doing this. So I can get like 30 videos, like 2 hours.
Okay. It's like no, I think that's one of my mojitos. It's like a mint lime. That's really good. It's like the best mint flavor I've ever tried in a drink. Like it genuinely tastes like you ate a mint leaf.
That's a lot of mint, bro. I feel like there's the actual mint leaves in it.
That's what I'm saying.
Like this, I feel like my mom or auntie made this.
Like because I have mint in my garden, so I literally sometimes like I used to just put a leaf in my mouth. That's what it tastes like.
Crushed mint with my tobacco.
Where do you even get that, bro? Like I've never I gotta be honest, I've never seen anyone ever have rolled their own cigarettes before. Everyone buys them pre-made.
Fuck that. There's nothing like rolling your own. It's a life skill to have.
The fuck is this? Fumar incremente. And dando por COVID-19. Did I say that extremely wrong?
I don't even know what you said, but it's
Fumar incremente.
White as hell. Fumar incremente. Yeah, it's basically saying like, smoking increases the pain of like COVID, which is bullshit. I talked to a few friends about this that study medical reports.
Oh, so okay, but what if you're like not a little bitch? Does that increase the pain there?
I talked to a few people in the medical field about this that are also cigar smokers. Guess what they told me?
What?
People that were smokers, tobacco smoke, especially cigars, they less likely of getting COVID, and the duration when they did get it, if they did get it, was way shorter. A doctor started putting nicotine patches on patients. Mm-hmm. The ones that received the nicotine patches, far faster recovery than the ones that didn't.
No, there's always a question I had, right? Because I know people smoke cigarettes and they smoke cigars. It's the same thing, but are the cigars just more concentrated? Because they're massive.
It's not just tobacco.
Yeah.
Cigars are 100% tobacco.
So basically,
quality tobacco rolled up. It's an artsmanship to it. Cigarettes is just some tobacco sprinkled with a bunch of other chemicals made in factories.
Okay. So would what you're smoking be considered a cigar? Because are there other chemicals sprinkled in?
No, cigar has also tobacco wrapper on it.
Okay, but
cigars are not supposed to be inhaled. This can be inhaled.
Okay, so
cigars are like hookah. You just puff and release.
Okay, makes sense. So, but this is like you don't have additives in there, I'm assuming.
No, this is just tobacco. This pack specifically was bought in Mexico.
So this is basically like it's like a light cigar. I think that's the best way to describe it.
I guess, yeah.
Because my dad's friend, he smokes cigars, but they look like cigarettes, right?
Some of those are like cigarillos. They're small and
yeah, exactly. That's right. They're like a strawberry one.
I think I have a pack with me.
I was in like the bathroom at his house. I actually opened it because I was looking for toilet paper. Mm-hmm. I opened a drawer. There was literally like, I don't know, like 80 boxes of those cigarillos, all strawberry flavored. I don't know how the fuck you managed it. And he told me that his dad got. Are we filming, by the way?
We should be. Yeah, almost 3 minutes in.
All right. He told me that his dad got kicked out of
the mic just a little bit. It's rubbing on your neck.
Okay.
Yeah, just a little bit.
So let's see. So let's go like.
You can bring it down to where just above the top button.
I just don't want it to touch my my chains.
That's what it was. It was rubbing on that.
Okay. So let me put this like here. I don't fucking see it. Okay. Fuck, I missed it. Here we go. So anyway, my dad's friend, right? He was kicked out of a casino because he was smoking the cigarillos.
Okay.
Like it's the same thing now because it's like but no, it's because like a more pungent smell, I think.
Interesting. I've always smoked in casinos. Never
had I'm so. There's casinos here.
Yeah, Hard Rock.
Oh yeah, that's what I was thinking about. Yeah. Do you gamble? No.
I went there because a couple of friends were visiting from out of town.
Okay. So it's like you use it more as like a hangout spot, if anything. I mean, it's a good cigar lounge if you think about it.
It's
There's
convenient.
definitely a cigar lounge in a casino.
There's a cigar shop, but there's a smoking section, non-smoking section. So you just buy a cigar and you can just walk around smoke
That's only. I don't know why a casino would like ever want to kick you out.
for smoke.
I mean, especially, it's not like they would kick you out for winning money. They wouldn't kick you out for smoking. That's what I'm saying.
Especially if you win too much and too fast amount. They want you to win and pour it back in. That's the scam.
That's what that's why they like give you a gift. I think, right? If you win like a certain amount, because they want you to put that money back on the table.
A lot of times, actually, flights to Vegas can be cheap.
Really?
Hotel rooms you can get sometimes free or very low cost.
They subsidize it.
They want you to spend as much as you can in the casino.
I'm gonna go buy like 40 of these after.
Flip. Okay, now the mic is flipped and it's rubbing on the shirt.
How can you sell this? How can you sell?
I mean, I'm looking right at it. Pin it just above the top button like this.
Okay.
See the right hook?
I see the right hook.
Mhm.
Yeah, watch. Where's the fucking top right? Here it is. And this is the top.
Mhm.
So we're gonna go right. Let me fold you up. I can't
I love the
see.
jewelry though. I love the Cuban link and the watch.
Yeah, thank you, bro. This chain I got from my friend because he was I don't want to rub. You couldn't afford it, very simply, because he bought it for like 500. So I bought it off her for like 400.
Okay.
It's a very nice one. I haven't like sometimes like shit silver like rubs off. I've never had this rub off ever.
Well, there's your 925 sterling silver,
I think this is 999. I don't think this is 925.
and you got stainless steel silver. Stainless steel is like you can wear every day. Don't worry about it.
This is definitely real, but I think it's like coated or something.
Okay.
You see my you see this the cross is black, but this also real silver.
Okay, nice.
But I think like me and my dad, like my mom told me like we produce a lot of sulfur in our skin. So like jewelry, like especially like silver, pure silver starts to turn really black after some time.
Interesting.
So I think that's why this one is coated in something, because otherwise it would turn black like this one.
Okay.
But no, it's not. I'm not a Satanist. That's not why my cross is turning black over time. I'm not an evildoer. Even though it would be kind of funny, wouldn't it?
Have you ever seen the Da Vinci movies?
Da Vinci,
Sorry, the Da Vinci Code.
No.
Okay, those books are pretty interesting. A lot of historical fiction in it, but it's revolved a lot around Catholic Church, Satan shit mixed with religion. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
If you read the second page of the Declaration of Independence, it literally talks about how we've built this state or built this new colony to get away from the evil institution across the Atlantic.
So they're really talking about Catholicism.
They were talking about we're here to get away from Catholicism.
It's kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah.
It.
Those were the founding fathers.
I mean, it is true. There's a lot of history that's been like overruled. One thing that one time I was scrolling IG and I didn't really expect to learn anything special while I was doing it, but I saw this one video and it was like some guy at a museum. It was a normal TikTok, right, or like an IG video. It's like, guys, I can't believe the good guys won every single war. Isn't that crazy? The thing is, like at the surface, he's not wrong, but like you kind of think about it because when you're reading a history book, it's portrayed that the good guys won every single war. If you think about it, right?
Well, the good guys are the ones that wrote the books.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So like,
Who would write themselves in a book as the bad guy?
that's exactly what I'm saying. So no one really like. I haven't really thought about it like that way. I mean, obviously I knew about it, but I didn't really like, think about it that way. But if you read any history book, every single one is written as if who won is the good guy, which simply isn't true.
Because you get to dictate history.
Exactly. You can change certain facts around. Like you can say, oh, okay, these guys attacked first, so technically it's not that bad. And especially when you see a conflict unfolding in real time, like Russia, Ukraine. So it's already possible that, they're trying to write history.
Yeah.
That hasn't happened. Or they're trying to create news to write the history later.
Marketing, bro.
And I think there's a quote I heard. It's like, no war is ever black and white or something like that.
Never.
Because never. I mean, maybe World War II. But the thing is, I don't know about that either, man.
You know General Patton? You know who he is?
Yeah, of course. He's like he has a tank named after him, no?
Iconic U.S. general. You know what he said after World War II?
What did he say?
He said we fought with the wrong people.
Really?
He said, instead of taking Berlin, we should have took Moscow. We shouldn't have fought against the Germans. We should have fought against communists.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, yeah, I mean, for his state, it actually makes sense. For his,
and German tanks had crosses on them too.
Really?
And Normandy, when they stormed the beaches of Normandy, the whole D-Day, it's kind of funny how they chose June 6th.
Okay.
6/6. At 6 a.m.
Really?
Yeah. Coincidence? I don't know, bro. I'm Arab. I'm paranoid. I don't believe in coincidences.
I don't know, man. I haven't really looked that deep into it, but
German tanks had crosses on them.
Like you mean like the Iron Cross, or like a normal
No
cross?
cross. Hitler was mad Christian.
That is something that I've heard about, which always kind of surprised. I don't know enough, and I haven't looked deep enough into the subject to give a lesson or really voice a accurate opinion on it. That's my take for now.
I'll raise one question that I've always asked people.
Fucking
If someone lied to you 9 times,
uh-huh.
when they come to you the 10th time, do you assume they're telling the truth or do you assume they're lying?
Of course they're fucking lying.
So the way I've looked at it is, people lied about Saddam Hussein in Iraq. They said he had weapons of mass destruction. He didn't. They lied about Gaddafi. They lied about the Vietnam War. Lied about Korea.
Vietnam was a fucking shit show.
So they lied about all of these narratives. What makes me think everything's 100% true in World War II and World War One? I think lied everywhere else.
I think World War One definitely, but World War II, the thing that makes so conflicting is it's a world war. So there's opinions and sources from all sides.
Too many countries involved.
So that's the thing is the thing is you're meant to believe that these countries were immediately enemies after the war. So
everybody does business.
So would they sit down and like create a narrative that each country has to portray identically?
Put it to you this way, in the most simple way possible for young people to understand. YouTubers.
Damn, all right.
YouTubers beef. No, I'm not saying you're dumb. I say let's just politics, as they say, is Hollywood for ugly people. Okay? It's just Hollywood without the sex appeal. So take YouTube for example. Don't YouTubers make videos and beef so both of their videos can do well? Don't rappers make fake beef so they can both sell albums? Wouldn't these people create narratives so they can both sell whatever it is that they're trying to sell?
It is possible. I don't know. One thing I do know is that people died for whatever narrative happened. So it doesn't that's true as far as I can tell. I don't think fake people died. So whatever narrative was chosen, people died for it. People probably didn't know what was actually happening.
It all comes back, like I was saying, it all comes back to marketing, how you portray something. If I say the best burger in the world right now, what do you think of?
Five Guys.
Okay. But McDonald's sells the most.
I don't know if you ever eaten, like, have you eaten at McDonald's the past 10 years?
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Honestly, at 2 a.m., like, I'm down with it.
Bro, like, the thing is, right, like, sometimes I want to be a little bit fat, right? And, like, order some food from DoorDash. Before that, I try to, like, order it right away before the price, like, kind of hits my mind that I'm paying $45 for, like, some fucking shit, right? McDonald's, like, it's just not good. Like, I'm gonna say
they sell the most.
They sell the most, but how? It's shit.
Exactly.
So
something doesn't have to be
expensive.
good for it to sell.
McDonald's is not cheap anymore.
No.
It's expensive. The Big Mac is literally bread. And, like, the patties is this thick. It's tasteless.
Big Mac used to be pretty big.
The fries are literally just salt now. The McFlurries never work.
No.
Like,
machine is always down.
Like, that's what I'm saying. So, like, if I go to McDonald's, right, what do I want? Like, I genuinely don't know because nothing sounds appetizing from there. Literally, the McNugget. I don't know if have you had the McDonald's chicken nuggets? They taste like fucking rubber.
I don't ever eat chicken nuggets.
Well, I mean, obviously I've had some in my time, right? But they taste like rubber. Like, okay, so if I'm gonna go to McDonald's, I'm dropping $20. I can go to Publix, get a really good fucking chicken tender sandwich for $10. I can go to Five Guys for $25 and get an amazing burger with like 3 patties that actually taste like a burger
and a bunch of fries.
But bro, they fill that bag. Yeah. They're instructed to double the portion size. But I don't know why I would even go to McDonald's. Like, it's not really.
But again, marketing, right? So right now, Android people have always said that Androids are better than iPhones. Always. The claim is always that. But Apple is the only company with over $1 billion valuation. The closest one is Samsung at $500 million. So the argument has never been Samsung versus iPhone. It's always been Androids. All the Android companies, all of them versus
just iPhone.
And yet none of them have $1 billion valuation. Only Apple does. So marketing.
I think it's more I think it's like $1 trillion for Apple, no?
I don't know if they've reached no. I mean, they could become. Has the company reached $1 trillion valuation?
I'm pretty sure it has. I'm gonna check. I'm pretty sure apart from like Tesla, it's the most valued American company.
Maybe them and Microsoft and Google.
Let me check. Apple company value. No, it's crazy. 2.51 trillion.
Shit.
Okay, well let's say Samsung, right?
I want to say 500 million.
I'm gonna say around there too. Okay, so it said 394 trillion. I was like, what? It's in South Korean dollars. So let's I don't know why they would do that.
They're trying to jack the numbers up, trying to confuse people.
Because this is KRW. What the fuck is a KRW? I don't know what a KRW is.
We need USD.
Okay, it's 285 billion USD.
Dang. Okay.
So it's about half what you predicted.
So,
but that means that there can be.
Apple was the first one to get the billion, way before Samsung did.
But that means there can be like what, 15 Samsung ones I got from my main account. I don't really know why that is.
Interesting.
Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Once they talk to the outreach account, I direct them over to my Telegram.
Okay.
So they talk to me. I'm saying, yeah, that was Mike. He was my outreach, and it was always me, because it doesn't take that long to respond. But I don't really know why. But let's just say volume works. Volume works. Those are like in terms of X outreach, like there's only like Drippy is a good tool, but it's way too fucking expensive. Again, we talked about CloseX last time. Yeah. So it stopped working halfway through, so I decided to back charge it. I got my fucking money back, but it was really good to be like it worked, even though it was like a little bit buggy. It worked. If they literally
put a robust team,
they literally put I don't know fucking 2 hours into it, it would have been perfect. Because the guy, like the programmer, the reason he didn't want to like continue is he didn't have time, but he also wouldn't give his code up. So he would rather have the project be dead than give it to someone else and have them make it succeed. So I feel it's like almost like a personal like failure on their part.
Yeah.
Because it was almost really good. It was almost really good. And now I have to pay 15 times as much for Drippy. I'm very pissed about that. There's a lot more cost than you would think in a content agency. Most of it being outreach related.
True. Which again, the whole point of it is the little bit that you do spend supposed to get you clients. Like I've been using Drippy right now. I haven't.
What package are you on?
I don't even know.
Do you know what the monthly is?
I want to say 60 or 70.
Okay, so when I was using Drippy, I was on $450 a month.
Okay.
When I was using, I got 5 times as much DMs on CloseX for $100. Wow. So that's why I was so happy with it, because it would literally have cost me my entire monthly profit to use that on Drippy.
Gotcha. And
the Drippy supports are a bunch of cucks.
Yeah, we talked about that before.
Bro, I don't like. I was
talking most of these SaaS companies that the product can work.
Cucks.
The product can work, but if there's just a decent team that can respond. And
that's why I'm so excited to do this this shit at GrowX with my partner and investor. No, definitely. Already, it's a lot harder to start a SaaS than I thought, because the dev originally, like the new one that I got, we agreed that he would get a rev share and that he would finish the project. And then literally he hit my phone, because he was supposed to finish by Friday. Hit my phone 2 days ago, yesterday, and said, "Yeah, bro. So before I even start the project, I'm gonna need a payment of $1,500." I'm like,
"But you never agreed on that before."
No. So I'm like, I already assumed he's been working out for 2 days. I'm like, it's a little bit strange because he didn't ask for the API keys. So how's he working out the API? Because it uses 3 different APIs. Like, how the fuck's he working on it? So I asked him, he's like, "Yeah, bro, I'm gonna need a $1,500 payment." I'm like, so I already paid a shit ton of money for that website. And actually, I had $1,500 for the last payment for the first dev, but the wallet got hacked, which it had. So I still paid the dev, but some random scammer.
Super unfortunate.
It is super unfortunate. But anyway, he was like $1,500. I'm like, so I'm assuming since you haven't asked for the API keys, you haven't even run the project, you don't even know how much work there's left to do. So how are you quoting me $1,500 without even knowing what the project is? I mean, essentially, this guy basically just looked at the files and said, "Okay, $1,500 for what? You don't even know what the work is. Do you know how many hours this could take you? No. I mean, for most devs, they charge like $50 an hour. So $1,500, what are you going to spend 30 hours on? There's like, the project is 80% done. It needs like a little bit of changes. So that's interesting. There's a lot of the developer space, like coders. It's very inflated, and they're very difficult to work with because, first of all, all of them are anonymous. They all take crypto as payment, and they all know shit about the internet, so they can find you, but you can't find them.
Yeah.
So like,
doesn't breed a lot of trust for long.
It's like I'm not really gonna say that the dev that didn't pay the last payment of took the crypto, but let's just say it was directly a day after I refused to pay him. Hope he's happy, but he kind of just didn't finish the project, so he didn't deserve the money. He just said, "Yeah, so bro, I can't do the license key feature. Why? I'm paying you for the license key feature. Fuck you mean you can't do it? Yeah, find another person to do it."
Anonymous, crypto, and super unprofessional.
But that's the thing, because they're anonymous in crypto, they can be super unprofessional. But that's the thing, all of them are. There's like not a single dev who has a profile picture. Because even the like fucking 10 people gave me a dev. Some guy named Lucas, no profile picture, no website.
You know where I recommend you go?
Where?
School communities. I think they're really great. The guy I mentioned to you, Liam Otley, with his YouTube channel for AI.
No, I mean at this point I have one, but like you understand, right? The point I'm trying to make is I'm not trying to interrupt you, but the point I'm trying to make is developers, their whole niche is being unknown.
Yeah.
And it doesn't invoke a lot of confidence when I have to send money advanced to someone who doesn't have a profile picture, no image, no brand name. They're it's just like a fucking noun is their name. It's just like fucking like DeFi hook. Would you send $3K up front to someone named DeFi hook with no profile picture? And then they refuse to use PayPal because you can charge back via PayPal. So developers are really, really
and Liam Otley's school, which is free, there's a higher section on it. So some people post, like developers will post like, hey, I've done 1, 2, and 3. Obviously, people had names, they have faces. Like it's a genuine community. So people will post like, I'm looking to hire or I'm looking to get hired. And a lot of people have started automation agencies and businesses together off of the hire section in the school community. I think schools, communities filter out a lot of that weird shit for actual genuine talent for people that want to work and create things.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like a lot of people like I remember we talked about this last time when we didn't have the phones, but they act like children in the business world because the internet allows someone to
be unprofessional
and not have a what's it called, like a starting boundary to be there, right? It's most because like 30 years ago you had to have a college degree to be any business at all, right? Basically, otherwise no one would take you seriously. So obviously, if you're in college, you're on time, you're professional, you know how to talk, all right? But here, anyone can be a business guy.
Can just show up, yeah.
They can show up, they can take your money, and they can fuck off.
Right.
And their reputation could basically be damaged zero because of it, because he's not big enough to have a reputation. So it's out of that, but that's why you have to be the diamond in the rough.
Absolutely.
You have to be the exception. That's why, basically, since day one, I always try to have like a face to my brand. I've always tried to be as honest as possible. I always try to like do things like more on PayPal than like a payment method than crypto. So they also trust that. I have like a decent seller rating on PayPal. They keep increasing my recent instantly available money. Like let me see this. They sent me another email today. Shit, just give me a second.
Oh, you're fine.
Yeah. We've increased your recent instantly available funds to 22,000. I mean, I've never made 22,000 a month, but they keep increasing it because I haven't had a single chargeback.
That's amazing. Congrats.
Chargebacks are shit, but I can, in some cases they're deserved, and I want clients to have the option if they feel that something was really horrible.
Right, and if you're doing your job right and you're.
But the thing is, I've never had one because if someone's like really, really suspicious, I'm not going to charge back. Like, there's been instances where like clients they didn't get the promised performance of the videos, but all the videos were still delivered on time and quality. So I mean, it could have been a different factor, but they don't charge back because the videos are still quality and they're so amazing and it's delivered on time. So every other factor was good. So it wasn't a negative business experience, It wasn't like it's horrible. So that's another thing I really hate with like contractors or like people who are working with. A client can take as long as they want to respond. But if you're selling them something, you should respond within like a half a second.
Right.
Because I know people who I've paid them money and they respond like once a week. Okay, so I've sent you money. I'm expecting a service and I don't get updates ever. I have to beg you. I have to message you to see about my product being made.
Right.
And it's going to take me time to get your response. That's just it's extremely unprofessional.
It's unacceptable. That's true. There's simple ways nowadays too to automate certain updates and things like that.
But not even that, bro. Like if you're running a business, there's no way it takes you a week to respond to a client. No. Ever, unless bro, even if like your mother's in the hospital, you have time to respond. Like I mean, like I guess that's not like the main factor, but it shouldn't take weeks, especially consistently.
True.
Like
one-offs happen, of course, but overall, it always is a late response. It's weird.
So there's been one instance where I had a response longer than like 3 hours. The hurricane, right? Still, I bought the VPN, the hotspot thing. I responded as soon as we got power back, because I was at my friend's house. So I took like 12 hours to respond at the latest. I'm pretty sure it's the latest I've ever responded to a client. Right? I mean, that's pretty fair, I think,
Right.
considering there was like a massive storm up ahead.
Of course.
So like, people could have taken weeks, but you know, even if I didn't have power, I went to fucking Planet Fitness and started responding to clients
Absolutely.
because it's just rude.
And that level of dedication and consistency and persistence is gonna take you a long way.
Especially, I mean, if it's prospects, you know, like one thing, but if someone's paid you money, you owe them at least your attention.
True. Absolutely. It's fire, bro. Fire. I'm excited. I'm excited for you.
Thank you, bro.
Great conversation.
Damn, how long was that? 2 hours?